A prayer from Dr. Chabayinze.
In the Bible, in Luke chapter 17, verse 11 to 19, Jesus met 10 lepers, and on their way they asked to be healed. And when they were told to go and seek clearance from the scribes and the Pharisees, one of them, or all of them, observed that they had been healed. One of them returned back to the master to give thanks. This day, as a nation, we've come back to give thanks to the Lord. The Lord has been gracious, and favor has been bestowed on Uganda as we come back to give thanks for being healed of the scourge of Ebola. So we are here to thank God for giving us this divine favor of healing. Let us pray. Almighty God, in whom we move and have our being, we thank you for this beautiful nation, Uganda. We thank you that our future is in your hands. Lord, when we were challenged, when the Ebola outbreak happened in this part of the world, Lord, we are seeking your divine intervention. Thank you for giving us the leadership, through giving us wisdom, giving the leadership knowledge in how to handle this. We also want to thank you, Lord, for the President of this Republic, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. We want to thank you, Lord, for the ministry led by General Ruth Acheng and all the partners. We want to thank you for the people who bestowed their resources and expertise in helping us handle this Ebola outbreak. Lord, we ask you that as we convene, we invite your presence that be part of this celebration, and everything that we are going to do here will be blessed by you. We thank you for the people of Mubende and Kasande especially, who suffered most with this outbreak. Lord, we pray that it's time now for restoration. We want you to give us the ability to embrace the restoration as we celebrate. We thank you for those who have traveled. We thank you for journey mercies. Lord, as even we depart from this place, going back to the different parts, we ask you that you'll give us the same journey mercies as we depart. For those who are still on the way, Lord, we pray. In Jesus' mighty name we've believed and prayed. We all say amen.
Thank you, Dr. Daniel Chabayinze, for such a brief and interesting prayer. Honorable Minister of Health, Honorable Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, who is also the woman MP for Lila City. The Minister of State for General Duties, Honorable Anifa Kawoya. The ambassadors present, heads of UN institutions here, members of parliament present, the district leadership, all members of the district task force present. We have other colleagues of ours who have joined us from other districts, from Masaka, from Jinja, from Kasanda, and many more other areas, including Bunyangabu. We have senior colleagues from Ministry of Health, specifically heads of departments, directors, the Director General, and from the technical side, all these have been headed by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health, Dr. Diana Twine. We have our colleagues from national referral hospitals and regional referral hospitals. All key personalities will be introduced in their capacities. Before we start, Honorable Minister, allow me to invite the LC1 chairperson of this place. And Honorable Minister, allow me to let you know that we have made adjustments in the program. This function will take maximum 2.5 hours, given the nature of the visitors we have. Latest by 2 p.m., we should be through with the function. And I request all those who are going to be invited to come here and give remarks to use the time provided. Chairperson LC1, kindly use 2 minutes to welcome us to your area. Thank you.
Thank you, our MC. In particular, I want to thank Doctor for the good prayer you have given us today. Honorable Minister, our guest of honor, directors, commissioners and assistant commissioners, our partners, all the RDCs around, honorable MPs, district chairpersons who are around, district task force members, senior civil servants, health workers, and survivors of Ebola. Madam Minister, I'm told to talk within 1 minute or two, but I would like to thank you very much, you in particular, and our president, for making sure that Ugandans survive the outbreaks of all diseases which come around. Next, I would like to thank the World Health Organization. Actually, it has done good for us, for the citizens of Mubende, Kasanda, and other neighboring districts, for the good work they put in Mubende. We are really very appreciative for that. And thank you very much. However, because I'm told I will not thank everybody, all of us survivors and people of Mubende, Kasanda, and neighboring districts, we have been working together. More so, the people of Mubende in particular, because Kasanda is a son of Mubende, Chivoga and Chankwanzi. So I would like to thank you very much for the tolerance, for the patience that you have been carrying around. However, Madam Guest of Honor, this one I think it will go to RDC because they have been leading these teams. I just hear, even today this morning I was hearing people in Kasanda. There are some workers, health workers, have not been paid. They are demanding what? They are demanding the appointments. I don't know which comes first. You first work, they give you the appointment, or you first make the appointment. So, Madam Aradis, I think you will elaborate about that. Lastly, Honorable Minister, because this is our country, this is Uganda, we are in the same world, outbreaks will be coming all the time. There are some people who work like barbarians. You find a border carrying a pregnant woman, moreover on the main. Then an officer, a security personnel, comes and helps that person. People have died because of not Ebola, because of not COVID, but because of the security people harassing people. Please, next time when we get such incidences, that person who is being carried by that border, that particular person at that particular time, that is the ambulance of that person. Please, next time when we get such problem, save us, save life, save Ugandan. Thank you very much.
Chairperson LS1, thank you for the remarks. I think your Secretary for Health didn't give you updates as per some of the asks you have made, but I think you'll be able to get more information before we leave this function. Honorable Minister, we are in a municipality. We have come here to officially receive the good news. My assumption is that there is no lamentation. We know all the key challenges and the successes we have achieved during this time. Let me use this opportunity to briefly ask the mayor to come and use 2 minutes to welcome us to Mubende municipality. And the mayor is going to use that time on behalf of the entire district leadership to welcome us in the district and officially welcome the minister and her visitors in the district.
Thank you very much. The Minister of Health and your team, allow me to say all protocol respected. On behalf of Mubende District and Mubende Municipality, we welcome you with your team to this historical function where we are celebrating victory over this epidemic which had attacked us, and Mubende was an epicenter. We thank you, we thank the government of Uganda and thank all the partners who participated in the struggle to make sure that we defeat this disease, Ebola. We are very happy with the coordination and advices which are being given from time to time, more so to our RDCs in Mubende, RDC Mubende, the way she coordinated the task was so marvelous. We are very grateful. We thank the councillors, we thank the leaders, we thank the VHTs who really did commendable job. At times they could go through a lot of difficulties, but they remained focused on fighting this Ebola epidemic. One time I heard that Uganda is good at handling such emergencies, but I came to prove that, Mama Minister, you have made a beautiful foundation for such attacks. Whenever they will be arising, you have the capacity to deal with them. We promise that much as you are declaring today that Ebola is gone, but we are going to remain on lookout to make sure that we don't go back where we have come from. Wish you nice stay in Mubende District and Mubende Municipality. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, after we have been welcomed in the district and in the municipality, I would like to take this opportunity to invite the Director General to come and introduce to you the different dignitaries that we have. There is quite a number of key leaders that we have from government, from UN institutions, from USAID, and a number of ambassadors here, and a number of visitors from other districts. Dr. Charles Olalo, kindly come and recognize the key delegates that are here.
The Honorable Minister of Health, who is the guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of State, in charge of general duties, Honorable Hanifa Kawaya, Your Excellencies, the ambassadors, all implementing partners, district leaders, all our workers, the media, all protocol, respected ladies and gentlemen. My duty this morning is to introduce the members who accompanied the Honorable Minister, the delegates of His Excellencies, the ambassadors and High Commissioners. And after that, I will request the person who is co-aims Master of Ceremonies with the in charge of health education in Mubende to introduce the district leaders. The Honorable Minister is accompanied by ambassadors from the U.S. Ambassador, Her Excellency Natalia Brown, the Embassy of Ireland, represented by His Excellency Kevin Colgan, Royal Embassy of Norway, Embassy Ellen Osbo Johnson, represented. The British High Commissioner, Her Excellency Kate, is represented. The USA Director, Mr. Richard Nelson, the Mission Director. The US CDC Director, Dr. Lisa Nelson. The delegation of the European Union, represented by Jan Sadek, Ambassador. The UN agencies, I will go to Ms. Susan Ngogi Namondo, is the UN Resident Coordinator. Mr. Sanis Savage, representing, the IOM Chief of Mission. Ms. Els Atafi, the UNDP representative. Mary Achieno, I don't know if she's around. Matthew Crystal, UNSCR. UNICEF, Mr. Munir Salfin is represented. The UN Women, the World Food Program. Quickly allow me to go through the implementing partners. The Chief of Party of FHI 360 degrees, Dr. Nathan Tumesije. The African CDC, the acting director is with us. Mr. Hamad Ogwel Ouma. Uganda Refugee NGO Forum, Mr. Nick Bose. Moses Isova, also from the Refugee NGO. From AFNET, we have representative from AFNET, from JMedic, from the East African Community, Dr. Eric Jesmana. Is he around? Yes, she's represented. We have Miss Rebecca from USAID, and then many others. On the side of the Minister of Health, allow me to introduce the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health, Honorable Diana Atwine. My colleagues, the directors, Director of Governance and Regulation, Dr. Joseph Okware, Dr. Daniel Chavaizi, the Director of Public Health, all commissioners, Commissioner of Health Promotion, Dr. Kabanda, who is the MC, Dr. J.B. Wanyai, who is the Commissioner of Ambulances. Let them be upstanding. People need to see them. Dr. Openso, who is the Director of Community Health, is already actually in the community. Dr. Jessica Insungwa, the Commissioner in charge of Reproductive Health. I think those are the ones I have seen. The Undersecretary, ladies and gentlemen, I was making a mistake, because definitely very important. The Undersecretary, Minister of Health. So I think I will stop here. Other delegates will be recognized. So let me ask Dr. the representative from the district to come and introduce the members of the different districts and the members who are here.
Honorable Minister, there are heads of departments here that the DG has forgotten, and one of them is the one in charge of planning and financing, Dr. Sala Vyachika. There is also Dr. Alan Muruta, in charge of public health emergencies, surveillance. There is Sister Chandi Abaku, the commissioner in charge of nursing. There is Dr. Herbert Navasa, the commissioner in charge of environmental health. I have also seen Engineer Jojo Tim, the commissioner in charge of health infrastructure. Others that I have not seen, there's also a commissioner in charge of human resource management, Mrs. Annette Musinguzi. There is also a commissioner in charge of non-communicable diseases, Dr. Oyo. We also have a number of assistant commissioners and other senior officials from the ministry. We welcome them, and literally many of them actually head the different pillars, which I think that it is one of the areas that we speak about. Mu ngeri enjawulo tulina abakulembeze okuva mu disitulikiti eno ey'e Mubende, nga mu bano mulimu RDC. Honorable Minister, the RDC who has been the chair of the task force in the Mubende district is here with us. She has come with the deputy RDC. We do have the mayor of Mubende municipality who has given remarks on behalf of the district. We do have the DPC. We also have the DISO. We have the chief administrative officer. We have our colleagues from the regional referral hospital, headed by the director of the regional referral hospital, Dr. Batiwe, and the entire team. We have a number of chairpersons from different sub-counties that make Mubende district, and other colleagues from the divisions that make Mubende municipality. We also have different sub-county chiefs, a number of religious leaders and cultural leaders. In a special way, we also have a number of district councillors here present. I know the RDC will make some remarks and should be able to give a brief on the number of key personalities. In a special way, Honorable Minister, we have a team of survivors. There are many, they are here, and they will be introduced later at an appropriate time. Honorable Minister, let me take this opportunity to invite you to come and make the end of Ebola brief response report and end of outbreak declaration statement on behalf of the government of Uganda.
Thank you very much, MC. My sister, the Honorable Minister of State for General Duties, Honorable Anifa Kawoya, Excellencies, heads of institutions, development and implementing partners in your various capacities, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Health officials, the RDC of Mubende and Kasanda, LC5 chairpersons, His Worship the Mayor, political leaders of Mubende and Kasanda, technical officers, health workers, the people of Mubende and Kasanda, and the media. Good afternoon to you all. It is still morning. Good morning to you all. Allow me first of all to recognize a few people who were not introduced. I will start with the Minister of State for Health General Duties. Just stand up for recognition. I bring apologies from the Minister of Kampala, Honorable Minsa Kabanda. Allow me to recognize Dr. Jonas Tegeny, the WHO country representative. Allow me to recognize my brother all the way from Ethiopia, Dr. Uma, the African CDC director. I trust all the others were recognized. Good. So I will now go straight to my statement. Today, 11th January 2023, marks 113 days since the start of the Ebola outbreak in Uganda, which was declared on the morning of the 20th September 2022. The outbreak started in Madudu sub-county, Mubende district, and at the time of confirmation, several people had been infected and others with symptoms consistent with Ebola had died. The outbreak was identified after an adult male who later died was managed at Mubende Regional Referral Hospital and confirmed to have been infected with Sudan Ebola virus disease. Prior to this outbreak, Uganda had registered 7 previous outbreaks, as outlined below. In 2018, Ebola Zaire cases were imported from the DRC into Kasese district, with 4 cases and 4 deaths registered. Case fertility 100%. In 2012, 2 Sudan Ebola outbreaks occurred. In Chivale district, the outbreak happened in July with 11 cases and 4 deaths. Case fertility rate 36%. While the Luero district outbreak happened in November with 6 cases and 3 deaths. Case fertility rate 50%. In 2011, Sudan Ebola outbreak occurred in Luero district. This was a 1 case and 1 death outbreak with no secondary transmission. Case fertility rate 100%. In 2007, an outbreak occurred in Bundibujo district, and that was named Bundibujo Ebola outbreak, where 131 cases and 42 deaths occurred. Case fertility rate 32%. In the year 2000, Uganda's first Ebola outbreak, Sudan Ebola outbreak, occurred in Gulu district, where 425 cases and 224 deaths were recorded. Case fertility rate 53%. The Gulu outbreak was and remains the largest outbreak ever registered in Uganda, which lasted for close to 6 months. This outbreak marks the 7th Ebola outbreak in the country and the 5th attributed to Sudan Ebola virus, which was last reported in 2012, more than a decade ago, in the then Chivale district, but present-day Kakumiro district. I'll give a brief outbreak description. In this outbreak, a total of 143 confirmed cases of Ebola, with 22 probable cases and 55 deaths have been reported, with a case fertility rate of 39%. 87 recoveries have been registered in this outbreak. Of the 143 confirmed cases, 85, that is 59%, were males, while 58, which is 41%, were females. By age, 26, which is 18%, were children, while 117, which is 82%, were adults. The outbreak started in Mubende district and was confirmed on the 19th of September 2022. It then spread to Kasanda, Chegegwa, Kagadi, Bunyangabo, Wakiso, Jinja, Masaka, and Kampala City. Outside the epicenter district, which is Mubende, secondary transmission took place in Kasanda, Wakiso, Kampala, Chegegwa, and Jinja. Despite imported cases in Masaka, Bunyangabo, and Kagadi, there were no secondary transmission. There was sustained transmission in both Kasanda and Mubende districts, making the two epicenter districts. The most affected district was Mubende, which is also the initial epicenter district of this outbreak, with 64 confirmed cases and 29 deaths, followed by Kasanda district with 49 confirmed cases and 21 deaths. The records in the other districts are as follows. Kampala City registered 18 cases and 2 deaths. Chegegwa district registered 4 cases and 1 death. Wakiso district registered 3 cases and 0 deaths. Jinja district registered 2 cases and 1 death. Kagadi district registered 1 case and 1 death. Masaka district registered 1 case and 1 death. Bunyangabo district registered 1 case and no death. The major drivers of transmission were household infection and amplification in some private health facilities, except for one super spreader event in Kasanda district, which was post-burial. Burials or burial practices were not a major driver of the transmission. 3 portals of transmission were observed in this outbreak that include contact transmission, sexual, and transplacental transmission. Source of the virus. The source of this outbreak, like many others, is still not known. My ministry, working with local and international partners, continue to look for the most possible and proximal source of the current outbreak and the reasons for the occurrence of Ebola outbreaks around the months of July to October. When this research is concluded, we shall inform you accordingly. interventions that were implemented to contain the outbreak. The government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Health and partners, implemented several interventions which led to controlling the Ebola outbreak, a success we are celebrating today. These interventions include the following. 1, setting up an on-site Ebola testing mobile laboratory in Mubende district, where samples were picked, tested, and results released within 6 hours. 2, we constructed 353 bed capacity treatment units in Mubende, at Madudu Sub-County, Kasanda District, Mulago Hospital, and at Entebbe, and equipped them with medical supplies and drugs. Number 3, we trained over 2,339 health workers of different categories from both public and private facilities. The healthcare workers were particularly trained in infection prevention and control against the deadly Ebola Sudan virus infection, psychosocial support, and care for both patients and affected families, and enhanced clinical care for the Ebola positive patients. Number 4, we enhanced the surveillance system in all affected districts, listing and contact tracing for 21 days, daily follow-up of all contacts, and active case search in the affected districts. Number 5, we carried out Ebola virus disease mortality surveillance, testing of all dead bodies for Ebola in Kasanda, Mubende, Masaka, Jinja, and Kampala City. This was aimed at ensuring no unknown transmission chains were missed. Number 6, we intensified awareness about Ebola virus disease through public addresses by His Excellency the President, the ministers, together with members of the Strategic and Scientific Committee. Daily talk shows and messages were run by local radio stations. We had social media messages, door-to-door sensitization of the communities, and sensitization of small community gatherings by the district and community task forces. Number 7, restriction of movements in and out of the 2 districts of Mubende and Kasanda, and an all-night curfew to control the spread of the virus to other districts. Number 8, quarantine of contacts for 21 days to avoid spread to other districts and to others. This was especially useful in the urban areas of Kampala metropolitan area and for resistant communities in Mubende district. I am glad to note that these measures have worked and we have successfully controlled the Ebola outbreak in Uganda. Moving forward, the Ministry of Health will continue to monitor the Ebola survivors and support them to reintegrate within their communities. I urge the population to remain vigilant and implement the standard operating procedures and report any person in the community that presents with Ebola-like symptoms. And these include sudden onset of fever, headache, weakness, joint pains, vomiting, bloody diarrhea or urine, bleeding from the body openings, to the nearest health facility or call the Ministry of Health toll-free numbers. Acknowledgements. I want to thank His Excellency the President of Uganda for his personal dedication and commitment to control efforts and the timely interventions at all levels of the response. The Right Honorable Prime Minister and members of Cabinet for all the support provided in responding to the Ebola outbreak. I also want to thank the members of Parliament who were present with us in this race, especially the woman MP of Mubende, Honorable Nakazibwe Hope Grania, who is also here in person. Honorable, kindly stand up. I thank the local leadership in all the 9 districts, including the area MPs, RDCs, LC5, council executives, and the other lower level councils. I request that you stand up, and we appreciate you. My sincere gratitude to all the healthcare workers for their selfless and tireless efforts, dedication, and commitment to save lives and end the Ebola outbreak. If there are any health workers here, please kindly stand up for appreciation. A special and very warm appreciation to all our development partners, both local and international, who have played a pivotal role, both technically and financially, in this fight to control Ebola, among other epidemics, and ensure the safety of Ugandans. Our development partners and implementing partners and all the ambassadors, please kindly stand up, and we appreciate you. And thank you for coming in person. If I wasn't here, I would have done the ulalations for you. Even then, I'll do it after when I leave this place. Last, but not least, I want to thank my Ministry of Health teams, led by the Permanent Secretary, and I request all of you to stand up for recognition. I said last but not least, but allow me to take this opportunity to introduce the incident commander of the response. Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Chobe, please step forward. That gentleman, I said step forward. That gentleman took us through the COVID-19 response, monkeypox, Ebola, and is still running strong. Thank you very much, Incident Commander. May I request the pillar heads to join you there? The pillar heads, can you please join your commander? ahead so I can start with them. Mr. Tek Kajirita, Incident Commander Mubende. He also doubles as the Deputy Incident Commander nationally. Kajirita, I know you are the most happy person today. Well done. Next to him is the Incident Commander of Kasanda, a very difficult place, Dr. Bwire. Well done, Dr. Bwire. You can now resume your positions as I introduce the pillar heads. I will start with the pillar head of case management. We commonly call him Dr. Moha Muhammad. You step forward. That man was responsible for ensuring that everybody who went into the Ebola treatment unit came out well. Next, we have risk communication. Risk communication, Dr. Kabanda Richard, the one who was responsible for ensuring that we penetrated all the villages and spread information to the population. Next to Richard is one of my favorite sons, the one who was responsible for ensuring that we carried out quarantine in the right way. I'm sure people know him very well. He's another Richard, but he's Mugahi. Then we have community engagement, Dr. Dugum Upentho. That one lives among the community members. We have Dr. Hafsa Lukwata, psychosocial counseling. Or next to the IC is the is the pillar head for schools. Pillar head for schools, now I'm a little bit forgetting your name. Dr. Patrick Ajuna, the one who ensured that children went home, they were well looked after, those who were outside came back in. Then we have Herbert. Herbert responsible for WASH. WASH in the communities and also in the facilities. We have Annette, human resources. Thank you for ensuring that you have a good inventory. Isaac, laboratory. All the tests. Another of my sons, Ronnie, who had two roles, supporting case management and IPC, but also human resources. Another of my favorite brothers, Alan Muruta, epidemiology. He ensured we had all the over 200 epidemiologists. Your name has escaped me. Oh, Dr. Kabweru. Dr. Kabweru, I didn't expect you here, but I'm excited to see you. Dr. Kabweru, responsible for treatment, clinical sub-pillar. The woman who guided us on money, I should call her a lady, who worked very closely with the permanent secretary to guide us, Dr. Sarah Vyachika. Thank you very much. Another lady who loves children and women and worked very closely with schools and case management, Dr. Jessica Nsungwa. Have I missed anyone? The ones I have missed here, please help me. Oh, district pillar leads. Give me your names. Mr. Chimera, lab pillar head Mubende. And? Kasumba, surveillance pillar head Mubende. Thank you very much. I'll now request you to take your seats, but you can walk with a swagger. Before I come to the most important people, allow me again to introduce, you know them of course, the permanent secretary, and thank her for timely release of funds to the districts. PS, stand up once again. Thank you very much for ensuring that we had resources at every point where we had interventions, and the Director General in absentia. Now, I want to introduce the most important people, the ones who ended the epidemic. We call them our most important stakeholders in this response. And before I request you to stand up, I want to thank you for your sacrifice, your patience, and your commitment to end the outbreak. Money alone cannot end it. Health workers cannot end it. The structures we have in place cannot end it. So the most important people in this response are the communities, the population of Mubende and Kasanda. Stand up and we appreciate you. Please stand up and we appreciate you. You are fearing appreciation or you are overwhelmed? Thank you very much. Indeed, you ought to know that if it wasn't for you, this outbreak would not have come to an end. You did a good job moving door to door, and in that regard, allow me to appreciate the backbone of the communities, the village health teams. Are they here? Village health teams? Thank you very much. You are part of the communities. I will now move to the declaration. Having spent 2 incubation cycles of 21 days each, making a total of 42 days, yesterday, the 10th of January 2023, since the discharge of the last confirmed case on the 30th November 2022, having registered no new Ebola case, despite sustained intense surveillance, both at the epicenter districts and nationally. I now confirm that all transmission chains have been fully interrupted, and take this opportunity to declare that the outbreak is over and Uganda is now free of active Ebola transmission. For God and my country. God is good.
S-Bling on the track.
All the time. And we give him the glory. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you all.
Honorable Minister, I was wondering, some of us who are not your sons and your brothers, where do we fall? It seems Alani Muluta is the only sweet brother. We fall under other categories. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the good news. I think we need to have some time off to dance off the stress since 2020 and the hard work as we prepare for next week to start on the fight for malaria. Next on the agenda, we are going to receive end of Ebola outbreak declarations by the international community. And I would like to invite, but before I invite, Honorable Minister, we have the Director for Public Health and Environment from KCCA, Dr. Daniel Okello. I had planned initially to introduce Dr. Henry Chove before the minister did in a special way. But since he came dressed in a uniform, I thought that introduction had been promoted to the minister. We also have Dr. Isa Makumbi from EOC. Usually most of the alerts go through EOC before the technical teams get on the operational issues. In a special way, Honorable Minister, allow me introduce Aineviona Emmanuel. I know he's very known to the media people, but without him, there is no way how we can work so closely with the media. And the media has done really a very good job. Honorable Minister, allow me invite the country representative for WHO. Dr. Jonas has been a lucky WR because Uganda, ever since he came, we have been through epidemics, from one epidemic to another. The experience you have gained from Uganda, Dr. Jonas, there's no any WR who has gained it. In a single country, you must be a special person. WR, allow me invite you, come and take us through the next session of the declaration from the international community.
Honorable Minister of Health, Honorable Minister of State, General Duties, Ministry of Health, Permanent Secretary, Director General in your absence and in your representation, Your Excellency, Ambassadors, the UN Resident Coordinator, and other head of agencies, the Africa CDC Acting Director, my real brother, Dr. Ahmed Ogwel Oma, Ministry of Health officials, other ministries, department and authority officials, honorable members of parliament, district officials, RDCs, the Lord Mayor, religious leaders, political leaders, the people of Mubende and Kasanda, survivors, and colleagues on the ground who made this possible. This is a special day, and thank you, media colleagues, for being here to cover it. Allow me, Honorable Minister, to take this duty of confirming that the Ebola outbreak is over in Uganda. As a global health organization, both our Director General, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, and our regional director, Dr. Chidi Moete, have sent a message because they were not able to be present with you, but they have recorded messages which, with your permission, I will ask the media, the people to transmit on the screens. Colleagues, please. The Director General.
Excellency, Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Health of Uganda, Dr. Jane Muchero, Excellencies, ambassadors, representatives of partner and community organizations, donor agencies, colleagues from WHO, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very happy new year to you all. It gives me great pleasure to join you today on this landmark event for people's health. Though regrettably I couldn't be in Mubende district physically, rest assured of my full support. Today, we join the government of Uganda to declare the end of the Sudan Ebola virus outbreak in the country, less than 4 months after the first case was confirmed in the central district of Mubende on the 20th of September 2022. In line with the recommendations, the countries having passed 2 days of the last case paved the way for the declaration of the outbreak. After the announcement of the Ebola outbreak on September 2022, the Ministry of Health, with support from WHO and partners, initiated a fully response plan to contain the disease rapidly. Your Excellency, I wish to commend the role of the President, His Excellency General Uganda. His effort highlights critical importance of high-level political engagement in epidemic emergency and response. I equally thank you and your team and other sectors of government for your remarkable leadership and action in responding to complex outbreaks. With no vaccines and therapeutics, this was a challenge for our outbreak in the current context, but Uganda stayed on course and continued fine-tuning its response. As the world's leading public agency and working across country, regional, and local levels, we provided technical and operational support. We deployed leaders for successful response. With the help of business, we devoted a total of $6.5 million of the WHO contingency fund for emergencies for the response in Uganda and another $3 million support readiness in the 6 neighboring countries. We were close to the African CDC administering help the highest neighboring countries to establish regional Ebola task force that coordinated readiness and facilitated information sharing across the countries. Soon after Uganda declared Sudan Ebola outbreak, we worked with developers, donors, and the Ugandan authorities to identify therapeutics and vaccines for inclusion trials. 3 countries were divided, and the first dose arrived on the 8th of December 2022, constituting a historic milestone in global capacity to respond to outbreaks and the pandemic. Our team designed trial protocols and trained 200 members local research teams on conducting trial according strict standards. My sincere appreciation goes to the health staff who saved the lives of 87 survivors by offering supportive care. I express my sincere condolences to families who lost loved ones to this outbreak and the 7 health who died in the line of duty. It's essential that we review the response and lessons we learned for future outbreaks. The key role that communities play was amply demonstrated in this response and its initial challenges. We also saw the need to engage the entire health system, including the private sector. We're working with the Ministry of Health to plan an after-action review in this regard. One of the key features of this response was a collaboration with various institutions and mobilizing capacities across the board. Over the next 6 months, we'll be harnessing these lessons to inform our focus on health promotion and disease prevention. Close follow-up of survivors to ensure they are well integrated back into society will remain a priority. Honorable Minister, partners and colleagues, congratulations once again on this great achievement. Thank you. Your Excellency,
Your Excellency, Minister Jane Acheng, my sister, Excellencies, dear colleagues and friends, New Year's greetings and best wishes from all of us at WHO. I congratulate the government, health workers, and the people of Uganda for your leadership and dedication, which have enabled this Ebola outbreak to be contained in less than 4 months. I commend the government of Uganda for declaring the outbreak immediately after it was confirmed and notifying WHO as required under the international health regulations. We thank donors and partners for swiftly mobilizing resources and vaccine developers for making candidate vaccines available in record time. Even in the absence of approved vaccines or therapeutics for this species of Ebola, Uganda was able to use proven public health tools to contain the outbreak. Congratulations. I salute the dedicated health workers, partners, and communities who work day and night to save lives. This outbreak has finished, but WHO's commitment to Uganda has not. We remain committed to strengthening Uganda's health system as part of its journey towards universal health coverage and a healthier, safer, fairer future for all the people of Uganda. I thank you.
Honorable Minister and distinguished guests, you might be surprised why the world was concerned when we hear Ebola. We have the memories of West Africa and DRC, where people died in thousands, where economies were devastated. That's why we thought we should give it the highest priority to address Ebola in Uganda. And to our surprise, to our gratification, Uganda has proved it again. Even the most dangerous virus can be contained because of the dedicated health workers, the committed community, a transparent leadership which was able to support this response. The global community is learning a lot from this success. This success is not only of Uganda, it's a global success, and the global health community will learn and follow Uganda so that Ebola is not as scary, Ebola is not as devastating as we used to know it. I congratulate you all here for this great day, and Honorable Minister, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jonas. I thought, Dr. Jonas, that you're carrying over the day up to your neighbor. It is still within that. And since the minister and Dr. Jonas, no one used this umbrella, I think I should go with it.
You can.
Nobody should use this umbrella.
Yes, except you. Dr. Kavanda, you challenged me again, and thank you. My apologies for misunderstanding your instruction and guidance. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce my dear brother, Dr. Ahmed Omar, who is the acting director of Africa CDC. As you know, Africa CDC is one of the great innovations where Africa is taking in ensuring that we are self-sufficient, that we ensure we take care of our health, led by people who understand our priority, our concern, and our strength to ensure that we also build a sustainable system so that we do not always rely, as we have seen in the time of COVID, on others. Dr. Ahmed, you have a great task to build that responsibility. And it is my honor to ask you, on behalf of Africa CDC, to also join in declaring this outbreak is over. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my brother Jonas. Allow me to stand on the protocol that has already been established. And as I do that, Honorable Minister, I would like to say in Swahili, pongezi and pole. Pongezi is a Swahili word for congratulations, because it is a huge achievement to be able to bring Ebola under control in under 70 days. We are counting over 100, but the 100 includes the countdown. If you look at when the first case was diagnosed to when the last case was documented, it is about 69 days. So pongezi, Honorable Minister, to you and your team. And I add pole, pole being feeling sorry. I feel sorry for you because you have raised the bar so high. It means that the next time anything is happening in Uganda and Africa, we'll be expecting similar results under 70 days control and just over 100 days to declare any outbreak to be over. It's a big achievement, and we need to be proud of this. Let me also commend the ownership with which the government and the people of Uganda have taken this outbreak response in the last 113 days. It is the example that we on the continent of Africa need to follow when we are faced with similar challenges, particularly health outbreaks. Indeed, it is the example that we, as Africa CDC, are going to be using as we support other African countries in preparing and responding to various health emergencies and outbreaks here on the continent. Let me thank the teams that have been working in the background. The Africa CDC team, who have been here with the government from the beginning, our partners, including WHO, who have also been here from the very beginning, every other individual and organization that have contributed to this excellent response and outcome, I acknowledge and I thank you, and in a very special way, I would like to thank our health workers. Just as we wake up every day and go to our workplaces to face our duties, they go to the workplaces to face many different conditions, including Ebola. And they never stay away, even at the height of the outbreak. So for the health workers, a very special thank you, and to those who lost their lives in the process of conducting their duties, our prayers are with them and their families. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, there are some innovations that we need to carry along out of the experience, not just of this particular Ebola outbreak, but also COVID and other outbreaks that we see on the continent and beyond. One such innovation was an urgent regional approach, working with WHO and hosted by the government of Uganda. Honorable Minister, thank you very much. We brought together ministers of health from the continent here to Uganda to discuss how we can be able to have a regional approach to responding to this particular Ebola outbreak. A task force was formed to address Ebola control on the continent, and that task force continues with its work even beyond the declaration today, because we need that experience in other outbreaks. We need that experience in other aspects of our work, not just as Africa CDC, but as a continent. Beyond that emergency ministerial meeting, we have also been impressed by the difficult decisions that the government of Uganda has taken, and the minister has shared some of those, including selective lockdowns, quarantine, and other public measures that have contributed to the rapid control of this particular outbreak. A very big thank you to all the village health teams, and we appreciate the sacrifice that they make at the community level, and we commit that we shall continue to use this important innovation in bringing good information to the communities so that we can be able to engage directly with those who are going to help with bringing the outbreak under control. The fact of the matter is, outbreaks begin and end at the community level. When communities are well informed, outbreaks are rapidly controlled. When communities are not well informed, then we have challenges of long and drawn out outbreaks. So a very big congratulations to all the communities where this outbreak started and ended in a rapid way. The lessons that we have learned, Honorable Minister, during this particular outbreak, indeed the lessons that we've learned during other outbreaks on the continent, give us the confidence that Africa is able to do what is required on its own, even though we welcome partners to support the work that we do. And what has happened here in Uganda, Honorable Minister, we salute the openness and the transparency with which this outbreak has been guided. We salute the openness and transparency with which information has been provided, and we salute the openness and transparency with which your government has engaged with partners who are willing to help in controlling this outbreak. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, disease outbreaks and threats cause a lot of social and economic stresses. We have seen it during COVID. We have seen it during this particular Ebola outbreak. These consequences go beyond our own border as Uganda into the region, indeed globally. These effects are possible to control early if we work together with purpose and under the guidance of the government's one plan. So I urge our partners, I urge all those friends of Africa that let's always work under one plan that is guided by the government so that the results are possible to achieve quickly, as we have seen here. Honorable Ministers, we also take a note of the priority areas that you and your government have enumerated yesterday and partially today that will require support going forward. As Africa CDC and the Africa Union, we commit to continue to support your efforts in ensuring that no other outbreak comes in the way that this one did. Indeed, we are committed to support your government in ensuring that any time an outbreak comes, it is controlled in the shortest time possible. We are particularly pleased that the role of community health workers has not only been amplified, but has confirmed the key part that they play in bringing under control an outbreak of this nature. And we therefore are looking forward to working with the government of Uganda, particularly the Ministry of Health, to continue to support community health work and community engagement and communication. It is our belief that when we look at the experiences we have achieved, the results we have achieved during this particular outbreak, it is our belief that if we strengthen our institutions at country level, if we ensure that our workers, particularly the health workers, are well capacitated and provided with the right tools, if we afford ourselves the opportunity to manufacture our own health products, if we generate the right partnerships, then we can not only be able to do what has happened this time, we can be able to do more. And this is the embodiment of Africa's new public health order, where we are convinced that the continent can be able to take its priorities in its own hands and guide response to any health outbreak and disease threat. Finally, let me remind ourselves that when, in the African saying, that when we come together in the village square, it is not because we cannot be able to see the moon from our homes, and it is not because we cannot be able to have a meal in our homes. Coming together is good for the community. And the way that we have come together to respond to this particular Ebola virus outbreak is the way that we need to continue coming together to build our capacity here in Uganda and in Africa, to build our resilience and our health systems so that any other outbreak does not result in a similar difficult situation for any country on the continent of Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, let us continue to come together for the benefit of public health, for the benefit of our mother continent, Africa. It's a pleasure to be part of this ceremony to declare this particular Ebola outbreak over, and we look forward to continue working with all of you to ensure that no other outbreak takes away from us as much as this one has done, because we have the tools, we have the capacity, and we have the experience to be able to bring it under control very fast. It's a good start to 2023, and I'm looking forward to ensuring that the rest of the year is just as good, if not better. I thank you.
So we do appreciate in totality the international community for the good words, but of course also for appreciating Uganda and accepting that Uganda is really doing a good job when it comes to public health emergencies. And we are really looking forward to building more capacity and using our expertise and skills to ensure that our other colleagues on the continent, the capacity is well built. Now that the Director for Africa CDC is here, we are looking forward to strengthening that. After the declarations, I think the next step is to receive success stories. And the success stories will be represented by the RDC for Mubende, before the RDC from Mubende comes, Honorable Minister, allow me let you know that we have other RDCs here. One for Masaka, of course one for Mubende. I've also been informed that the RDC for Kasanda is here. I don't know where she's seated. But I know the RDC will be able to introduce other RDCs who are here. And she's going to give her remarks on behalf of all the chairpersons of the district task forces, literally who are the RDCs, and on behalf of the district task forces who are here. But in a special way, since we are in Mubende, Honorable Minister, I've not seen the DHT for this district, the DHO. The DHO and his team, they have really done a good job. The DHO and the entire DHT, I don't know whether they are here. I saw Kauma. I suppose that the ADHOs are also here, and the entire district task forces. We appreciate you and your entire team. Madam RDC, kindly come. Since you are representing the president, and the president doesn't take a lot of time, my assumption is that if you use a lot of time, it should be around 10 minutes to fit in the president's footsteps. Thank you, Madam RDC.
Our chief guest today, the Minister of Health, Honorable Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, the State Minister of Health, Honorable Kawoya, Excellencies present here, the representatives of the UN and diplomatic agencies, the High Commissioners present, the senior government officials, the resident district commissioners, the honorable members of parliament, the district chairpersons, the representative of the IGP is here with us, the health implementing partners, all political leaders, the district chairpersons, the worship, your worship, the mayor, the religious leaders present here and cultural leaders, the members of the media, our beloved health workers and Ebola response teams, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, everyone. Biabasaija Rosemary is my name, and I am the RDC Mubende and the chair of the district task force. But with me are the RDCs from the 9 districts. And since I'm going to speak on their behalf, I'm requesting all the RDCs to come to step forward. Please, step forward, all RDCs. And as they come, allow me to warmly welcome you to this ground on this historical event. Everybody, you're most welcome. And allow me to welcome our beloved sister, Dr. Honorable Acheng. She's a living hero. Honorable, you are now an expert in handling epidemics. Yes, RDCs, please. Can you introduce yourself? Name and district, name and district, name and district.
Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Lukanga Amina is my name, RCC Kampala City.
You're most welcome.
Honorable Minister and our beloved important guests around, you are all most welcome. Chibuka Francis bazigatira wamoti azigase namwe. I'm the RDC of Mubende working in Mitoma because I'm a born of this district and a resident here, and I work in Mitoma as RDC, but I said I have to join you and to congratulate the people of Mubende for going through that period. Congratulations, my fellow Mubendians. Thank you, my Madam Chairperson. I want to appreciate your effort and your team for the effort you put in to make sure that we are living, we are seen living. Thank you very much. You are most welcome, people from all over the world.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister and everyone. Lule Senkunge Mtieni, RDC Masaka.
Praise the Lord. Amen. God is good. I'm called Karungi Monica Kanyehe, the RDC of Chege. God bless the Lord for this wonderful day and the great achievement. God bless you.
I'm Seruwaji Faizo, Deputy RDC, Kasanda. Your daughter, she's not with us. She's on sick leave.
Masereka Kisembo Joshua, RDC Vunyangabo.
Honorable Minister, good afternoon. My name is Alare Kamkama Nicholas Kaine, Resident District Commissioner, Kagat District. You're very welcome, lady and gentlemen.
Bilunje Baka is my name. I'm the Deputy RDC Mubende. Thank you so much.
Baweddeyo. Kati RDC engero omusana gye guli omungi. Badde nsaba muddeyo mutuule. Ebintu nga bwe bwamuyungambye nja byogera. Teri kinzija kulekayo. Honorable Minister, allow me to inform you that the district chairpersons were part of the district task force. And with me here is the district chairman Mubende and the chairpersons from the neighboring district. Allow me, Honorable, to call upon them. You should all come. Chairman, come. And Mr. Chairman, we are going to introduce your fellow chairpersons and the executive. Yanguan.
Thank you very much, Madam RDC, the Honorable Minister. My name is Muhereza Michael Ntambi, the District Chairperson Mubende, and I'm Chairperson. I think the other chairpersons are here. I've been telling you that I'm a chairperson from the NRM party in this Uganda region. I'm among those chairpersons. I want to thank the people of Mubende and to thank the government of Uganda and other partners for this work and the good work done here in Mubende. Surely you've done your work. And Madam Minister, I thank you very much. As they have said, you are a living hero. You know, they were asking me about my leader in the last year. I said, you're my leader. You're one of my favorite leader because you've done your work, both in COVID and now in Ebola. Because at least by the time when we got to know that we have Ebola in Mubende, for us, our hopes were all gone. But when you come on the ground, when you came on the ground, at least we resurrected. And we know that now we have a hero who can fight. And I want to thank Madam RDC. Thank you very much. I have my vice here, Let her come. You know, this battle has been for the lady. She's my vice chairperson and the one in charge of health at district level. She has been fighting with the RDC and you fighting the Ebola. So me, I say that this battle has been a lady battle and you've done it. And you have really proved that you know how to do the work. I want to thank you very much. I want to thank my honorable MP, Honorable Grania Nakazi. We stand up for recognition at least. She has done her work everywhere. But I want to congratulate the people of Mubende that today at least we are going to drink water. At least we have achieved this. And I want to thank His Excellency, President of Uganda, for what and the guidance, the support and everything in fighting this Ebola. He has done it. He has done it. Abagamba nti tasigala ku maini muli ku birala. Ffe tugamba omusajja akole ki? Avulumire. Kolasi weeziri obulwadde weebuli abulwanyeeko ki ekirala kye twagala. Tetulina birala. We have the here they are chairpersons from these districts. Let them come and introduce themselves. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister James Ategeka Mugarama, District Chairperson, Bunyangabu.
My name is Kellen Besije. I'm the Vice Chairperson, LC5 Mubende District. Thank you for coming, people.
Honorable Minister, Kizito John is my name. LC5 Chairman Representative, Jinja District. You know very well Jinja District tested Ebola. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, my name is Flavia Nampera. I'm the Vice Chair, Kasanda District, and I'm in for the Chairman LC5, Kasanda, Mr. Kasiriyezimula. Thank you so much for this event.
Honorable Minister, Ndibwami Biyosia is my name, District Chairperson, Kaga District Local Government. I want to congratulate everybody present and the country at large. You're most welcome.
Yes, Madam Honorable Minister, my name is Batemia Toluchamus Andrew, the Chairperson of Masaka District. Allow me to introduce to you these people who worked hard on this issue. First of all is my RDC. My RDC, where are you? Please, can you come here for recognition? This old lady has done a lot, or as far as Ebola was concerned. There is also my health DHO, District DHO, Dr. Faith has also done a lot. Together with the cow of Masaka, Mr. Kawuya, where are you? We've been an organized team and we've really done a great job. We've followed the other channels of coronavirus, then into Ebola. That's how we try to ease our work. But thank you very much.
Yes, those are the chairpersons. Honorable Minister, with us are the Secretaries for Health, LC5, from the 9 districts, the DHOs from the 9 districts, and the mentioned districts as follows. That is Chegegwa, Masaka, Kasanda, Kakumiro, Jinja, Bunyangabu, Kampala, Wakiso, and of course, Mubende, where the epicenter was. Allow me, Honorable Minister, before I proceed with my message, because today we are marking a very, very, very important day. But this success that we achieved as a district or as districts of Mubende and Kasanda was attributed to teamwork. I didn't work alone. I have strong men and women whom I worked with. The district task force of Mubende, please come here. The epicenter was here. That is why the function is here. That team is led by the Deputy RDC. Hurry up. Please come along. RDC, DISO, DPC, DHO, Vice Chairperson you had already seen, and the other leaders. Your Worship, the Mayor. Muje. Where is the DHO? Aha, town clerk. Come. The pillar heads, where are you? The Honorable Minister introduced the pillar heads from the national, but they were grooming and working with our pillar heads, the local pillar heads. Where are you? Deputy RDC, can you come and introduce yourself, please? Come.
Once again, I'm Birunja Beka, and I'm the Deputy RDC Mubende. Thank you so much.
Gahanga Tumusime Vincent Kisanja, Secretary for Education and Sports. I was struggling with schools to be that they are safe.
Bosco Sandika Duo, acting DHO Mubende.
DHO. Come.
Honorable Minister, Mtandeka Festo, Town Clerk, Mubende Municipal Council. You're most welcome.
Tumusime Renard, Chief Administrative Officer, Mubende District Local Government.
Time, please, time.
Honorable Minister, Naiga Juliet are my names, and I'm the Hub Coordinator, Mubende Region. Thank you.
Once again, Engineer Sechiziv Innocent, Mayor Mubende Municipality.
Kauma Charles, District Health Educator, and I've been the pillar head for risk communication and community engagement. You are welcome.
Bilele Gracias Chimera, District Laboratory Supervisor, Blab Pillar Head.
Sally Edison, Coordination Pillar Head. You're welcome, Honorable Minister.
I am Lieutenant Ronald, Head of Natural Resources. I was coordinating ecological survey.
Namsoke Mary, I was coordinating IPC WASH.
Kasumba Hakim, Surveillance Pillar Head.
Bwiwa Ivan, Head of Psychosocial Support Team.
Dr. Emmanuel Batiwe, the Director of Regional Referral Hospital Mubende.
Honorable Minister, allow me to introduce the representative of the IGP, because this outbreak came along with the lockdown. But the people who led and implemented the lockdown, he's come, step forward. This one is representing. And you come and mention your names, we need to know you. I also have the local district security committee, DPC.
Honorable Minister, I'm Assistant Commissioner of Police, Onen Chan Stephen, the RPC Wamala region, this region, but today I'm representing the IGP in this function. Thank you.
So, Honorable Minister, we have the DPCs from the entire region who commanded this. Let me go now to my message. It's my great pleasure to be here on this 11th day of January 2023 as the World Health Organization declares Uganda free and the Ministry of Health. It's now 42 days after the last confirmed case was discharged from the Ebola treatment unit. It has been a great combined effort to get there. The Ebola outbreak was announced on September 20th here in Mubende. And this announcement came with a lot of selfless acts that have made this day possible. Honorable Minister, on behalf of my fellow RDCs and the Ebola District Task Force members, I would like to thank His Excellency the President for his wise counsel and leadership, working with the Ministry of Health in ending Ebola outbreak. We are proud of our dear President's wise leadership in our times of need. His well-calculated measures and warranted a lockdown in Mubende and Kasanda, which greatly support the end of movement cases from this district. This preventive measure further slowed down the infections, and it was a key reason that helped end of Ebola outbreak in Uganda. Within only 10 weeks, we had already knocked down the virus. I think internationally, Mubende is on record to end Ebola within only 10 weeks. We greatly thank His Excellency the President. We want to thank you, Honorable Minister, allow me to thank you in a special way for coordinating on behalf of government all the implementing partners and the donors who came here and camped here, which has made a great contribution in the end of Ebola. In this district, or the two districts, even others, we had all the officials from the Ministry of Health, directed by you, Honorable. We had members of the World Health Organization, UNICEF, World Food Program, UNDP, IOM, USAID, UKAID, Africa CDC, and other donors. We also had local implementing partners like Red Cross, MildMed, mentioned. The international partners for the strong commitment. We want to thank the international partners for the strong commitment working together towards ending the deadly Ebola virus. In the same faith, I also wish to applaud the selfless actions of our dear health workers, community mobilizers, and individuals on the front line. Thank you for the job well done. I also want to thank our task forces at all levels and in all districts. I want to thank you for great work that has been done to achieve this success. To the communities that we serve, I want to thank you for taking initiative to adhere to the ministry SOPs. If the communities had not adhered, I don't think we would succeed. Not only the SOPs, but also to adhere to the presidential directives for the lockdown. I also want to commend you for being part of this fight against Ebola. Thank you for the alerts you sent to us on suspected Ebola cases. And I want to believe that we as a community, we have taken our lessons. Honorable Minister, allow me to tell these people that let science always play its role. Because I remember when I discharged the very last patients, survivors, they were expecting the lockdown also to end the following day. Yet there are certain scientific things that were supposed to be followed. So I'm appealing to the communities, let science always play its role. For all those who lost their loved ones, we mourn with you. And pray that God Almighty continues to comfort you. To the Ebola survivors, we thank God for saving your lives. The communities where the survivors came from, please do not harass these people. Do not discriminate them. They are healed from Ebola like any other curable disease, like malaria, and you should continue associating with them as before. Please support them in every possible way. Lastly, I want to thank the people of Mubende and Kasanda districts for understanding the need for the lockdown. Your cooperation played a very critical part in ending this Ebola outbreak. In also a special way, I want to thank the security team that implemented the lockdown. It was a very big contribution. I also want to appreciate the Honorable Minister for Health, Honorable Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, and all the health care workers for the sacrifice. The Honorable Minister used to come here every week, should be here, and each time she would come, very new things. It would be a turning point for everything. I request that you once again clap for her. And not only that, she would come with her PS. She would come with the entire team, whereby each of them would answer any question that would come along. I want to thank you, the Minister of Health, and her leadership. I was thanking you for the sacrifice, tireless efforts, dedication, and commitment to end the Ebola outbreak and ensure that Uganda is free from Ebola. Banange mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. I thank you for your selfless service, and may God bless you. I've said this for God and my country. Banange bana Mubende mukulike, ne bana Kasanda, ne bana Uganda mwena. Mubende fe tusoose mu nsi yonna okulwana ekirwadde ky'Ebola mu wiiki 10 zokka. Naye nga maanyi gammwe. Banange President waffe yakola omulimu munene olw'omuggalo. Ne bwe kino abantu abalala balowooza nti it was a punishment. Naye njagala bategeeza we baayogerera omuggalo. Obulwadde nga buli bunyanga bwe waffe gye nva, nze nva bunyanga ne kyamaani wange mumulabye. Naye nga buva wano. Omulwadde yasooka e Kasanda nga yava wano nga butandise okutambula. N'olwekyo lockdown eno yatuyambako nnyo. Olw'ebyo ebitaaba ebirungi tubasaba mutusonyiwe, naye kino kye twali twagala nti ekirwadde kiggweewo tuddemu tweyagale. Era President mukubire mu ngalo. Minisita waffe abadde abeera naffe, ba health workers basulanga nga tebeebase. Njagala kwebaza ttiimu zino. Abantu baffe abakoze omulimu. Ba hygienists abadde mu malwaliro omulimu gwe mukaze, Mukama akibabalire. Ba health workers, ne ba health workers, namwe Katonda akibabalire. Security team, village health teams. The issue of contracts and whatever. Me, I left this office at night. We have handled this thing, we have discussed it. Ate we chituuse, twabayogedde namwe eggulo we chituuse ekintu kiwedde. But most people have been paid, only that they have not got 100%. And that one, I know our technical people assured us they are going to handle. Naye n'ebigambo ekyo ekikulu mwakola omulimu mulungi, twebaze Katonda twawona atajja kibalira kibaweeremu omukisa. Ebyo mbyogedde olwa Katonda n'ensi yange. Ssaabasajja wangaale.
Madamu RDC omazeeko ebigambo byange nabyo obyogedde. Weebale nnyo, weebalire ddala. Katwebaze RDC olw'okukiikirira obulungi task forces ez'enjawulo ate n'abasawo ab'enjawulo okuva mu district ez'enjawulo. Tukwebaza maama RDC olw'omulimu gw'okoze mu response. Ate tukwebaza bwe watonda kujja wano twali tutunaa kulaba kire kyankuba. Bwatuuse wano kire ne kikyuka. Olabika ndowooza olabika olimu emikisa. Honorable Minister, in a special way, allow me to introduce the following people. I know the US protocols may not allow, but since I work with the government of Uganda, I may be able to introduce the following without endangering the protocol of US government. We have the USAID Director, Mr. Richard Nelson. We also have Dr. Alisa, who has been represented by, no, not Dr. Alisa, my apologies. USCDC has been represented by our colleague whom we have worked with since the COVID-19 outbreak and now Ebola. And I know that the ambassador will be able to speak more to the entire team that has come. We have Associate Professor Bruce, who is currently the PI for the current research that is ongoing. Dr. Bruce, you're welcome. We also have Dr. Mr. Chuwayengela, the chair of the Scientific Advisory Committee. I don't know if we have other members of SAC. I don't know whether Dr. Ami sits on SAC or not. She does. So the entire SAC committee is here. Ami is here. I think Dr. Bruce is here. The PS is here, and many more others. We also have 2 other regional referral hospital directors. The regional referral hospital director for Naguru, Dr. Tugaineo, is here. We also have Dr. Alfred Yai, the regional referral hospital director for Jinja. Colleagues, you're most welcome. Honorable Minister, allow me at this time invite the accounting officer for the Ministry of Health, who is Dr. Diana Twine, to come and address us. Dr. Diana, you're most welcome.
Before I make my remarks, I request that we stand and observe the moment of silence for our colleagues that passed on and the families that suffered because of Ebola. May their souls rest in peace. Please sit down. Allow me, in the interest of time, to observe the protocol since we had been all introduced. Honorable Minister and Honorable Minister of State, the members of Diplomatic Corps, the UN family, the other development partners and implementing partners, our senior officials, the members of parliament, I think one of the member of parliament is here, the local leaders that have been introduced, the gallant men in uniform. I have not seen the representation of UPDF here. Maybe we shall take Chobe, but we want to appreciate in a special way because these are people who do a lot in the behind scene and they are never appreciated. Today I want to take this opportunity to appreciate the role of UPDF and all uniformed men in the support and the resilience they have always shown whenever we get an outbreak in this country. We thank you so much, even those that are not here. We want to take this opportunity to appreciate them. Our health workers have been appreciated. The survivors, we congratulate and we thank God. We know that it was not by power, not by might, but it was the grace of God and the support of the health workers and everyone. So we give God all the glory for yet another chance that God gave you. And you need to ask yourself why you? And I think that is a question that if you are here, just ask yourself and you do a little more because there is a purpose why you are alive. I'm here to add my voice to those that have already expressed the gratitude. the development partners, the implementing partners that came in and mobilized resources very fast to implement the government effort to make sure that we're able to deal with this epidemic. On 20th, when we declared this epidemic, on 20th, when we declared this epidemic, we assured the public and international community that Uganda has built a resilient system that is able to deal with any epidemic threat in the country. And we assured you that we had the capacity and we are going to handle. And in 10 weeks, in good record, Ebola that we had missed 2 weeks, and it penetrated into the community. I think this is the first time when we got this epidemic, when it had been in the community for quite some time. But we're able to deal with this threat and bring to a halt. We want to thank you so much, all of you once again. I want to resound the points the director from Africa CDC mentions, like he was in my head. We are here to celebrate the milestones that we have attained as a country to contain the epidemic. But we know that we are in the belt, that our Uganda and Congo and Sudan are in the belt of the areas that are prone to epidemics. And as you heard clearly when the minister was taking us through the history of Ebola, we have had several outbreaks. But what we know that every time we get epidemics, we get some lessons learned. And we build on the experience even to do more and to do it better the following time. In 2000, when we got the first Ebola outbreak here, the samples were shipped to Atlanta. And that's where we're able to do the diagnosis of Ebola. I want to celebrate the milestone of Uganda, that we shall continue to engineer and pioneer. We shall continue to pioneer solutions. In 2022, we're able to demonstrate to the whole world that you can handle the most dangerous pathogen in a mobile lab. Thank you so much, our gallant men in the service, especially in the laboratory. There was so much skepticism that people are going to die because but we knew and we trusted our systems. We knew that we had built resilience. We knew that we needed to get out of our comfort zone of the norm, only taking to one lab in Entebbe, losing time, and we took a step of faith because we trusted our systems, we trusted our workers, we trusted our technical capacity in the laboratory services, which we take pride that we have rebuilt together with our partners. We thank you so much that in 2022, we had a mobile lab here that was able to handle the most dangerous pathogens, and nobody got infected in a laboratory. We thank you so much, and we continue to build that capacity so that we see rolled out in the entire country, that we are able to handle such outbreaks without necessarily depending on one entity. COVID taught us many lessons. When we started, we had like about 3 laboratories. We take pride that now we have over 50 laboratories that are able to do PCR. And this is the capacity we are talking about. We have also learned, and when this is really not new, but we know, and the Honorable Minister talked about, and other people who talked here, the political will. Our president became a compass for us. He gave a clear direction, and we followed, and were able to achieve what we're able to achieve. And therefore, political will, and we know that even in the districts that successfully handled this, they did not do it alone, because we saw the political will come on even in some districts where they came in later. But we saw that political will was very, very important. And therefore, we continue to call upon the public that when science dictates, we listen. We may have sentiments, we may have propagandas, but we need to trust science, because science cannot be manipulated. Science will remain science, and it will remain fact. And I can assure you, if we trust science, we shall get to the top. Someone talked about community health. The strength of Uganda lies in the strength of its community health teams. And we know that there is a clear correlation between resilient community health systems with strong public health interventions. The two cannot be separated. And so we know that this is something, as a country, we need to invest in, together with partners, to strengthen the community health, so that we do not lose even any time. If we had strong community interventions at the beginning here, and they were able to pick the first case, maybe we would not have lost many people. But we continue to build these strong community health interventions, and we pray that the partners will come along with us to strengthen these interventions. In this time, we saw so many partners come on board, and we really appreciate you so much. The speed, the enthusiasm, the collaboration that you came with, and you brought resources, was unmatched. And because of this, we are very grateful. We request as government that we see more coordination. We see more coordination, so that whatever is going to be done, it is coming from the Ministry of Health. That we coordinate, we provide the strategic direction, we coordinate the resources, we coordinate the implementation, we cut out duplication, we ensure that we have more value for money. This is what we want, to continuously working with you, the partners, to make sure that we build really resilient system that is accountable, that is transparent. What do we want to do? And I think the director of CDC has clearly elaborated on this. We want to build capacity. The capacity in the quality of the human resource that we have as far as the epidemic control is concerned. Not just epidemic, even other disease burdens. We have defeated Ebola. Malaria is killing so many people. TB continues to kill many people. We need to build a capacity to deal with disease burdens in our country. We can't do this alone. We want everyone to continue supporting COVID showed us that no one is safe until everyone is safe. And especially now we are talking about global health security issues. Global health security issues in area of biosafety and biosecurity. We need as a country to establish systems that safeguards the security, the biosecurity of our country, of the region, and of the continent. This one, it will require a deliberate effort to build the scientific base, to build clinical trial groups in the country, that we are able to do our research. We need to establish and to strengthen research agenda that answers our questions. We want to get to a level where we don't see our samples taken abroad to do the tests that we can do here. We want to see that all our samples that we are able to do, that are everything that needs to be done, our scientific community, together with partners, we do all these tests here without shipping samples abroad because we don't have capacity. We have built capacity. UVRI has built capacity. JCRC has built capacity. Makerere University has built capacity. We have here some people, that Professor Chirenga and Professor Misach and all your teams. You have built capacity. This is what we want to build on so that we do research that is relevant, that is answering our questions, that is safeguarding our security, that is safeguarding our existence. And for me, CDC Africa CDC, as Jonas said, we have this journey to go together. And we pray that you help us to get to that journey. And we pray that the partners that have really built capacity, that has been supporting all the partners that have put resources, that have helped us to build the laboratories, that have helped us to build capacity in terms of technical capacity, continue until we get to that level. It is our prayer. Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much, our health workers. Thank you so much, the leaders of all these districts that were able to intervene. Thank you so much, our men in uniform. Thank you, UPDF, that every time when there is an epidemic, you are the first to get to the site without questioning whether you are facilitated or not. Thank you so much for being selfless, serving selflessly. And please take our appreciation to Ministry of Defense, because we know that even when it came to response, your team are the first one to reach their site. Thank you so much, and thank you for Internal Affairs to safeguard the capacity not to import, not to export anyone sick to other countries, because you continued to work with us to strengthen the surveillance so that any contact remained in the country. Thank you so much, and have a great stay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Diana. We are left with 22 minutes to the end of this occasion, and we are left with few speeches. Few high-level speeches, and most of these speeches are from ambassadors, ministers, and on average, these people use either 1 or 2 minutes. Given their international exposure, they don't want to speak a lot. Before I invite them, allow me to introduce the following DHOs since they are here. Of course, the one of Mubende, the DHOs who are here, where are you? We have the DHO for Jinja, the DHO for Masaka, the DHO for Kasanda, Kagadi. Where is the DHO for Kagadi? Kagadi, Bunyangabo, Chegegwa, and Wakiso. Honorable Minister, I've also been informed that the Executive Director for Kampala Capital City Authority is here, and he has been represented by Dr. Okello. So, Dr. Okello, you know, when you start representing executive directors, Dr. Okello, it means you are moving that direction. I want to pray for you so that you avoid the pressure of epidemics from the Honorable Minister. Today is really a good day, but those of you who have not worked so closely with Honorable Minister, she doesn't smile all the time. At the beginning of epidemics, it is very rare to see her smile. It is always work, work, and work, and work, and work. So now that they have declared, Honorable Minister, I wish the whole of this week is turned into happiness, 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 and happiness. I know you're going to start on malaria. Before we start on malaria, I want to flex a bit and release some stress to some minimum degree. Honorable Minister, allow me invite the UN Resident Coordinator to come and make a statement of commitment to epidemic preparedness and response on behalf of all development partners. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister of Health and all senior government colleagues here present today, all the RDC and district leadership that we have with us here today, excellencies, ambassadors, and heads of diplomatic missions, all our implementing partners, and all my own UN family members, all of us, good afternoon and very, very good wishes for 2023. You know, Honorable Minister, success loves company and has a lot of friends. So I am very happy to be among those friends that join you here today, alongside my other family members and all our partners, as we celebrate the end of the outbreak of Ebola, the 7th. And this outbreak has been fought, as has been mentioned by others, fought and conquered in an efficient and timely manner, thanks to the effort of so many. And they have all been mentioned. At the national leadership level, district leadership level, technical colleagues at all levels, national and international partners. So my sincere, and on behalf, and through me, the United Nations in Uganda's sincere, heartfelt congratulations to the government of Uganda and all the partners, all the frontline responders, and the affected communities. In this moment of celebration, we are grateful for the important work that we all, including our own, or your own, I should say, UN family members, especially through WHO, has already been mentioned, the instrument within the UN family, which for something like this, are the biggest part of our response. But also very importantly, as was mentioned by the RDC, the roles, important roles that were played by UNICEF, WFP, IOM, UNDP, UNHCR, and many others who was less in the center of this response. But we're really grateful for this collective work that we've all delivered together through financial, through logistical support, in wash infrastructure, in materials, in emergency food. As was mentioned by, I think, 2 others previous to me, each outbreak makes us better to respond to the next. So we are also very grateful for the progress that we've made, not only in terms of the public health measures that were already there, but also that we've made progress towards vaccines, and we now have candidate vaccines against Sudan Ebola virus. I think Dr. Moeti mentioned this earlier. But even as we declare the end of the outbreak, of course, the work continues. Survivors need medical and social support. All schools will reopen soon, and we'll all start our lives in 2023. But we hope that we find more effective ways of dealing with the issue of stigma that we know still exists. There have been huge economic costs associated with this outbreak, and of course there will be need to mitigate some of that. And of course, as you yourself mentioned, Honorable Minister, surveillance continues. The UN family also adds its voice to appeal to the public to embrace preventive measures in order to avoid a recurrence of the Ebola outbreak. I know, Honorable Minister, you mentioned that work is ongoing now to undertake to really understand the source of that outbreak. But perhaps I want to offer one area where we might also want to especially be mindful of at this time. Where I come from in Cameroon, we're very fond of what we call bushmeat. I don't know if that's the case here, but if it is the case here, there might be need for us to make more efforts to try and make sure that we separate ourselves a little bit more from the wild. It is a source of risk, and while we're celebrating now, this could have all gone horribly wrong. We have West Africa to remind ourselves of. So we should do everything, intensify everything that we need to do to be able to minimize the risks of it happening. This also is a time of learning lessons, as has been mentioned before. And a fantastic way of learning lessons, actually, as human beings, is storytelling. And to tell a great story really takes a lot of analysis. One has to isolate all the critical details and reveal the non-obvious connections. And the stories, of course, are not only for us, they're also for our neighbors and for the world. I think, Jonas, you talked about this. We learn from these stories, and we learn from the progress that others have made. So I hope, Honorable Minister, you are a very good storyteller, but through you, get everybody else who has been at the center of this to become an even more effective storyteller. And of course, for all of us to document those stories for future generations that hopefully will be battling this, hopefully not us. As we've had a 7th outbreak, we should of course be preparing for the 8th, even as we pray that it doesn't happen. We will need to clearly identify the specific investments in our public health system and primary health care system that we need to undertake, so that we can further strengthen the foundation for us to be able to respond to future outbreaks. And please, Honorable Minister, count on us, count on the UN family, count on your partners for continued support in this area. And as I conclude once more, please just accept our heartfelt congratulations and for this job extremely well done. And please, through you, take those congratulations also to His Excellency the President of Uganda, who has played an important role in shepherding the efforts. And I hope that after this great achievement, I hope that 2023 is an auspicious year for Uganda and her development aspirations. Thank you.
We are now getting to close. And the next speakers, all of them are going to make closing remarks. So the previous statements have been opening, technical, financial, policy related, but these are closing remarks. And my assumption is that since we said a lot yesterday in the Accountability Forum, we are going to receive less. in the closing remarks. And Honorable Minister, since your ministry has been commended for being transparent, I would like to apologize to Dr. Amebol, who is the CDC Program Director. I don't know if her position has changed, whether she has been promoted or not. By mistake, I talked about Lisa Nelson. I know how people feel offended, but Dr. Ami, my apologies. So at this juncture, allow me invite the representative of the ambassador of the Royal Norwegian Embassy to come and give brief closing remarks. After your remarks, we shall receive brief remarks from the representative of the British High Commissioner, in that order.
Honourable Minister of Health and Ministers present, MPs, ambassadors, all government officials, health workers, UNRC and the UN family, media, allow me to observe all protocols in the interest of time. Good afternoon to you all. I'm the head of cooperation at the Norwegian Embassy, Kjersti Linde, and I'm here representing my ambassador, who would have loved to be here with you, but is unfortunately out of the country today. Firstly, I would like to say also a big congratulations to Uganda for coming to an end of this Ebola outbreak. This is a tremendous achievement in such a short time, and we are grateful to come to the end of this right at the beginning of 2023. And I'd like to thank the government of Uganda and the Ministry of Health, through the Honourable Minister, for your strong leadership in steering this response. You have managed to contain the spread of the virus in record time, and we are all very grateful. I also want to thank our partners, WHO, World Food Programme, for acting quickly and in a timely manner to help us respond to your requests for support in record time. And I want to thank both the Ministry of Health and WH for being so transparent in sharing as much information as possible. As donors, we were following the outbreak very closely and updating our capitals regularly. And this helped us mobilize resources in record time and reprogram our funds towards fighting this outbreak in Uganda. And I would also like to join those who have thanked the health workers who have been on the front line of the outbreak. And a special thanks to those who are here in Mubende and Kasanda. Without your sacrifice, we would not have been able to see the end of the outbreak today. And as already been mentioned, this outbreak is a testimony of what we can achieve if we work all together. We hope we can learn from this and replicate the things that worked well, and then learn from those that did not work so well. Norway remains committed to working closely with the government and our partners to support Uganda's development going forward. I thank you all.
Honourable Ministers, all, allow me to stand on the protocols already established in the interest of time. I'm delighted to speak this afternoon as the government of Uganda declares the end of the Ebola virus outbreak. I bring you warm greetings from the British High Commissioner, Her Excellency Kate Airy. She was here in November 2022 and wanted to be here today to celebrate this momentous occasion with you, but was unable to make it. My name is Rebecca and I'm here on her behalf. I want to thank the Honourable Minister of Health and the entire Ministry of Health team and district leaders for providing decisive, transparent and effective leadership during the Ebola response. and all those across government who came together to make the response so effective. We appreciate all the frontline workers, particularly those at the different ETUs, hospitals, and all isolation facilities. Since the 20th of September, you've woken up daily to put your own lives at risk for the sake of the greater community. Your diligence and perseverance have been phenomenal and give us confidence that Uganda's health system is strong and resilient. Political, religious, and cultural leaders in the 9 affected districts. You represent a voice that the people trust, and in this case, you all rose to create awareness among the population on Ebola and how to prevent it. Also, the response would not have been as effective without the participation of different partners, the UN agencies, WHO, UNICEF, World Food Programme, and others, and implementing partners, all of whom supported the government to fight the outbreak whilst ensuring continuity of essential services. Lastly, but very importantly, I want to thank the community for remaining calm and heeding the advice of the Ministry of Health on how to prevent infection. I call on the community to remain vigilant. The community is the first line of defence, and I want to express my heartfelt condolences to those who lost loved ones during the outbreak. The UK remains a close partner of the government of Uganda in ensuring global health security. Last year, we contributed 3 million to UN agencies and partners supporting the outbreak, alongside technical assistance and in-kind support. This is in addition to 10 million for Ebola preparedness in 2018 to 2020. And we remain committed to Uganda's global health security. We want to build on the investments in tackling Ebola and COVID to support preparedness for future outbreaks. We also want to make more readily available to Uganda UK expertise, research and development for vaccines, therapeutics and diagnostics. We also want to use existing collaborations like the Uganda-UK Health Alliance, the Achieving Programme and the Commonwealth Scholarship Programme to build the human resources for health in global health security. Once again, I want to congratulate you on the declaration of the end of the outbreak, and thank you very much.
I think, Honourable Minister, I have used my 30 minutes of exercising today very well, since the recommendation talks of 30 minutes of walking. Honourable Minister, allow me to introduce or make a mention of the Executive Director of Baylor, since in your remarks and all other individuals who have made remarks have talked about the Survivors Program, and we know the contribution of Baylor with funding from USAID. We recognize your presence. ED, my assumption is that we also have a number of chiefs of parties of different institutions here, or different organizations, most of the implementing partners. I know some of them have not been introduced here, but I've also seen the Deputy Chief of Party for SBCA here. You're all most welcome. Honourable Minister, the remaining 3 categories of ambassadors, these ones are here physically, and we call these, they are more or less, these are presidents, so we call them Your Excellencies. So in that order, we shall start with brief remarks, closing remarks, from the Ambassador of Ireland. From the Ambassador of Ireland, we shall have brief remarks from the Ambassador of the European Union.
Thanks very much. Honourable Minister, Minister of State, I'd like to stand on all protocol already observed. It's 23 years since I've been in Mubende, and it has changed. But it's great to be here in Mubende 23 years later on such a brilliant day. Minister, when we first met in the Sheraton and you were talking about the outbreak, you said that Uganda needed to breed. All it needed to do was breed again. We were just coming out of COVID, we now had Ebola. It would be good to be able to breathe. Well, at least today you can breathe again. Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody in Mubende. Ireland is very happy to participate in this joyous and, celebration, and to congratulate everybody here. Because when Mubende is free from Ebola, when the region, and Uganda is free from Ebola, when the region is free from Ebola, the world is free from Ebola, and the world is a safer place, and Ireland is part of that world, and we're very happy that Mubende has put the effort in to free the world of Ebola. Yesterday I thanked the Minister and her team for the leadership, our international partnerships for the support, especially my EU colleagues, the wider UN family under Susan, especially WHO with Jonas for all their hard work. But today is today to thank the people at a local level, the political leadership, the RDCs, the COWs, the LC5s, the LC4s, 3s, 2s and 1s. Your hard work and effort made this such a miracle or such an amazing event. I'd like to thank the health workers, the cleaners, the drivers, the ambulance drivers, the messengers, everybody else. It's outbreaks of viruses like this, like COVID, that make us appreciate the people who work to help us. So I'd like especially to thank them, and to remember those who have passed, who were working at the front line. It's important that we remember them. People have talked about lessons of why why has Uganda done so well. For me, one of the lessons of why Uganda has done so well is because of the strength of its local leadership. It's the strength of its local capacity and the people at local level. This is a great day, but please remain vigilant. It's important that we don't forget what has happened, and we keep vigilant for Ebola. Minister, as you said on that day in the Sheraton, Ebola starts in the community, but it will also end in the community. And it has ended in the community, and it has ended here in Mubende today. Thank you very much.
It's great to be here today, and we haven't heard the protocol for a few minutes, so let me recognize the presence here of dignitaries, starting with the Honorable Minister of Health, the State Minister, the Permanent Secretary, and other senior officials, members of Parliament, Excellencies, ambassadors, UN Resident Coordinator, WHO representative, and other UN representatives of other UN agencies, the Africa CDC Director. We have our local host, the Mayor of Mubende, and other district and local leaders from Mubende, Kasanda, and other districts. Health workers, implementing partners, media representatives in front of me, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great joy to join you all here today to celebrate the end of Ebola. It's indeed something worth celebrating. Back in September, when the Ebola outbreak was declared, there were worries about the capacity of the country to quickly contain the outbreak. But here we are today to declare the end of the outbreak after a record time frame of 112 days. This is nothing but a very impressive achievement. And it is the result of the hard work, excellent collaboration, and perseverance of all involved. It is also the result of some very difficult decisions that were taken, such as the strict lockdown of the Mubende and Kasanda districts and the quarantine measures. These measures came at a human cost for the patients, families, and communities involved, and I want to acknowledge their efforts and sacrifice. I want to commend the Ministry of Health for its leadership and coordination, as well as the Honourable Minister herself, who has taken a prominent role in shaping the response. The many partners working round the clock must equally be acknowledged, and especially the frontline staff who has worked tirelessly in adverse conditions and danger. And I can see in front of me, behind media, lots of health workers, green and blue. And I want to say you have done a fantastic job. Congratulations, and you can be proud of yourself. I give you my applause and my admiration. My special thoughts go to the 7 health workers and their families that tragically lost their lives while saving the lives of others. The achievement we are celebrating today is indeed the result of a partnership between the Ministry of Health and the government of Uganda more generally, the WHO and other UN agencies and development partners, the implementing agencies and the affected communities. And in this sense, it was important to have the accountability forum yesterday. Like in any partnership, accountability is key and it goes both ways. The exercise of matching expenditure against the different pillars of the response plan will allow to show to Ugandan citizens how the resources made available for the Ebola response have been used. And this is critical for the government, but also for the development partners. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand here on behalf of the EU and its member states, and we have all been engaged to support the Ebola response. ECHO, the humanitarian department of the EU, has responded with just over 3.3 million euros to the response efforts challenged through partners such as WHO, UNICEF, IRC, MTI, and the Red Cross. In parallel, the EU is looking at ways to support the recovery and to mitigate the socio-economic impact of the outbreak with a specific focus on the most affected districts. This is something we will discuss further with the government. And even if the current outbreak is declared over today, we cannot let down our guard. We still have a 90 days follow-up period ahead of us with increased and reinforced surveillance as well as survivor support and guidance to avoid reinfections. We must constantly strengthen our preparedness as hemorrhagic fevers are endemic to Uganda. The use of Ebola treatment units, including the recently completed treatment unit in Kampala, to which the EU Civil Protection Mechanism coordinated the deployment of 2 technical experts, can become centers of excellence for the preparedness and treatment of Ebola in the future in Uganda. Finally, and again, my highest esteem to everyone involved in this important and difficult operation. Congratulations to Uganda for the impressive results. It's something to celebrate and also to share with the rest of the world as a best practice and example for others. So, Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your attention and happy Ebola-free 2023. Thank you.
Before I invite the ambassador for USA, our minister, allow me let you know that Uganda Red Cross Society has been represented by Dr. Josephine, who is the Director for Health and Social Services. I don't know where Dr. Josephine is. She's dressed in the Red Cross colors. We also have the International Federation of Red Cross here. There's a delegation here. We also have a team from Mubende, Uganda, and we know that Mubende, Uganda is the biggest partner for Mubende. I don't remember very well whether Dr. Charles Solano did make a mention of the head of MSF. Honorable Minister, yesterday, what WHO presented was very clear that Uganda received a significant amount of money from the US government. If I was the Minister of Health after declaring, because when you give people money, they tend to use it all. I would take the incident management team to Miami for a short holiday of 6 days. and 2 days of travel. But I can't talk about Miami when the ambassador is here. Let me invite the US ambassador to come and make her closing remarks.
Thank you. Miami's nice. I've been there, but there are so many amazing places to visit here in Uganda. And with declaring the outbreak over, I think we're all hoping that that means a return of tourists and tourism. And I hope that means domestic tourism as well. So I appreciate the comments, but I encourage everyone to get out and see the beauty of Uganda. Happy New Year, everyone. Good afternoon. Honorable Minister, Minister of State, and if you'll allow me, I will stand on the protocols observed by my colleagues from the EU and Ireland. I think they covered the comprehensive attendance here today for such a significant event. And as others have said, I am absolutely delighted to be here with you to witness the declaration of the end of the Ebola outbreak. The intensity of the past few months they left us exhausted. But if we look back on that period, I think we should all be proud of the dedication, the singular focus, the collaboration, and the nonstop efforts that brought us here today. And special appreciation to all of you in Mubende district. You certainly bore the brunt of the outbreak. And in November, I had the pleasure of traveling with the Honorable Minister and a senior level visitor from Washington, D.C. to see the ongoing efforts to contain the outbreak. Mubende in November was very different from Mubende today. And so I think it's only fitting that we're back here to celebrate the end of the outbreak. And I want to thank the people of Mubende, the district, and certainly the local government leaders for your warm welcome. As you've heard others say, Uganda has been a leader in global health security over the past 25 years. The impressive capacity built in the country to prevent, detect, and respond to disease outbreaks was instrumental in fighting COVID-19 and has been instrumental in this fight against the Sudan Ebola virus. I commend the Ugandan people for their commitment, their resilience, and their sacrifices. And just as we hope to start to come out of the COVID-19 restrictions, Ebola reared its ugly head, yet Ugandans faced the challenge head on. The people of Mubende followed the guidance of the Ministry of Health and their district leadership, and these efforts saved lives. The U.S. government has partnered with the people of Uganda for over 60 years. This partnership includes work through our U.S. agencies, including the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, or USAID, as you've heard mentioned, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, who are both here with me today, the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research and Department of Defense, the National Institutes of Health, and the Peace Corps, whose volunteers recently returned to Uganda. The U.S. has worked with Uganda through these agencies to implement programs like the Global Health Security Agenda, the U.S. President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, or PEPFAR, which actually celebrates its 20th anniversary this year, and the U.S. President's Malaria Initiative. These programs have worked together to build and strengthen Uganda's public health systems and improve the health of the people of Uganda so that they can better contribute to their communities. Helping countries respond to public health threats quickly and effectively is critical for preventing regional and global spread of diseases. The U.S. government has committed to supporting countries, including Uganda, to quickly detect and respond to outbreaks, because an outbreak anywhere is an outbreak everywhere. And it is only due to this long history of partnership with Ugandans and Ugandan institutions that we were able to mobilize so quickly to support this effort. The U.S. government, through the collective work of the agencies that I mentioned and implementing partners, contributed to Uganda's Sudan Ebola response across many areas, including laboratory investigations, surveillance, risk communication, healthcare waste management, infection prevention and control, engagement of communities, and of course a very important survivor program. Additionally, we committed direct technical assistance to the Ugandan response through the support of 23 staff from the U.S. Embassy who worked alongside partners in the Ministry of Health, and more than 50 subject matter experts who traveled to Uganda and who brought Ebola response expertise with them. And they were here from September 2022 and remain here to this day. The end of the Ebola outbreak declaration today signifies that our collective efforts have paid off. Thank you. And as you heard yesterday, I joined ministry officials and many other partners for the Ebola virus disease outbreak response accountability forum, where we took stock of our collective efforts and impact. Together, we achieved numerous accomplishments, but we have agreed there is still more to be done. The number of health workers infected in the line of duty calls for commitment and investment in strong infection prevention and control program that is guided by a clear national strategic plan. The lack of approved therapeutics and vaccines for Sudan Ebola virus highlighted an opportunity for strengthening partnerships for rigorous research. Having candidate vaccines and therapeutics might improve our ability to prevent deaths during the next outbreak. And if I understand correctly, I note that representatives from the Ministry of Health are meeting this week with WHO, other partners, and vaccine manufacturers to determine the path forward for vaccine trials. There's also a need to investigate the origins of the outbreak, create capacity for a speedier response in the future, and establish the structures, protocols, and partnerships to support research into promising vaccines and therapeutics to ensure prompt medical care during the next outbreak. And we look forward to working with the Ministry of Health and other partners to continue to strengthen Uganda's public health systems to better prepare and address future public health threats. The U.S. government commends the Ministry of Health under the leadership of Minister Chang for steering the response with confidence and expertise. We extend our gratitude to all the frontline health workers whose tireless efforts brought us to the end of the outbreak. And I applaud the many local and international partners that offered financial and technical support. And we especially commend you, the people of Greater Mubende, and all the districts that were affected for approaching the outbreak with commendable vigilance. And we empathize with those who lost loved ones, and we celebrate with survivors for beating this deadly virus and rebuilding their lives. We recognize recovery is not easy, and we commend you for your perseverance. As we prepare for the next outbreak, I think, and you've heard from many speakers that there will be one, we have to keep in mind that pandemics, including COVID-19 and HIV, which are still with us, and this requires the global community to invest in long-term preparedness and continued coordination. So let us remain vigilant and continue to strengthen our partnerships as we work together to improve the well-being of the people of Uganda and the broader region. Again, Happy New Year and congratulations to everyone for this milestone achievement. Thank you.
So we are likely to get some rain here, and we had committed that by 2 should be done. Given the fact that this functions for the Minister of Health, we should be eating by now. And the remaining 3 or 2 closing remarks are from politicians. I don't have any power to tell them that use 2 minutes or 3. But the power to delay us is in their hands. Or the power to let us go for early lunch is in their hands. But this function is going to be closed by the Minister of Health. She's among those 3 politicians, and she doesn't usually talk a lot because she's a scientist. Let me ask our senior public relations officer to prepare where we are going to have 3 group photos. One group photo will be at the right time as the following people prepare: the incident management team, the pillar leads, the IC and the DIC. We shall have the constants, the ministers who are here, the PS and DG, and ambassadors, the WR and the UN resident coordinator. Those are constant factors in all the 3 group photos. 4 group photos. One will be for the pillar leads, The other two, one will be for the survivors. So the survivors who are here will have a group photo with the minister. The third one will be for the district task force. I know we have representatives from different districts, so they should also prepare. And the last one will be between the ministers and the partners who have supported us in the response. We need to have that memory as part of our documentation. At this point, let me invite the representative of the members of parliament to come and give closing remarks. The woman member of parliament from Mubende.
Thank you very much, MC. Honorable Minister, Excellence, WR, I will not go through the protocol. I will also ride on the protocol that has been used previously. But there are a number of dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, that were invited for this function, and they spared their time and came in Mubende from all walks of life in Uganda and in the whole world. So we are so delighted as the people of Mubende to have all these very important people. I'm Hope Grania Nakazibwe Abasa, the woman member of parliament for Mubende district, but also I serve as the regional whip for Greater Mubende. So having this outbreak majorly in Mubende and Kasanda, I was greatly affected, and all my other members of parliament, my honorable colleagues. So some of them, Honorable Minister, gave me their apology to convey to you and all the other dignitaries. One of them is Honorable Dr. Michael Bukenya. I think you know his condition, he's unwell. Honorable Bashir Lubega Sempa, the area member of parliament for this municipality, and Honorable Pascal Mbabazi, who was also handling a few issues on behalf of the people of Wekula County. Having delivered those apologies, I will speak on their behalf and deliver all the gratitude and all the other asks that come from Greater Mubende on their behalf and on my own behalf and for the people of Mubende district. I want to convey our sincere condolences to the people of Mubende, Kasanda, and all the other 9 districts, the other 7 districts that were affected by the outbreak, and more so to those that lost their loved ones due to the outbreak, and those that lost their loved ones in the middle of the lockdown because they did not get chance to bid farewell to their loved ones as it has always been. My sincere gratitude goes to God, first of all, for his mercy and grace that he gave all our dear partners under the leadership of the Honorable Minister, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, and all the other technical people that you dealt with in Mubende district under the guidance of His Excellency the President in fighting and combating this outbreak in the whole country, because today we are here to declare the outbreak of Ebola no more in the whole country, however much we are standing here in Mubende district, which was the epicenter district, but also housing the epicenter sub-county, which was Madudu. So we thank you so much. We thank His Excellency the President for his continued guidance. We thank the Right Honorable Prime Minister for his providence at the time when the people of Mubende needed food and all the other necessities that we were able to get from our government. To Honorable Minister Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, I cannot thank you enough for your leadership. Through the partners, through the technical people, we had all the services that we would need at the time when we actually needed it most. So we thank you so much. Like it was said, you're a living hero. But we believe that now that Mubende and the whole country has been declared free of Ebola, our systems have taken chance or this opportunity which came in disguise to strengthen our systems such that in case we find ourselves in such a dilemma, we shall deal with it much more better than we did this time round. However much it was such a commendable kind of activity for the people of Mubende and the whole country, Honorable Minister. I also would like to thank the district task forces of the different districts, but more so for Mubende and Kasanda for their dedicated efforts. Madam Rosemary Biabashaza, you're so commendable. We thank you so much for your effort and your leadership through which we were able to combat the outbreak. To the police, yes, we appreciate you for the so much work that you did to enforce the guidelines, but we also condemn the individuals or personalities that mistreated our people. And Honorable Minister, at the end of it, I'll have a very small prayer concerning that, especially for those that were held as a result of violating some of the directives of the President and the guidelines that were supposed to be followed as we fight the Ebola disease and the outbreak itself. For Mubende and Kasanda, I want to so much appreciate the health workers, the barrio teams, the village health teams, and all the stakeholders that took part, more so the local leaders of the areas that were directly affected by the disease. You really did a very critical but very commendable job. This was like a sacrifice of your lives and your family time to the people of Uganda. Once an outbreak comes, it ceases being a village issue, but it becomes a worldwide issue. That's why we have all these dignitaries from all over the world to come and celebrate with us the declaration of the normal Ebola outbreak in Mubende and the whole country, Uganda. For the health workers, we are so grateful. Still at the end of it all, I'll put my prayer to the Honorable Minister because I know she's the one who will deliver it to government to see that your commendable job really rewards as is necessitated. You are our frontliners and you did what was expected of you. You're so patriotic. We appreciate you for that, and may the good Lord continue blessing you so abundantly. To our media fraternity, we are so grateful for the work you did. More so the media people in Mubende, working with the different media houses, wherever they are, they kept on updating our country about the progress of the outbreak and the response that our government and our implementing partners were able to put in place to see that we came to this day and celebrate it as a success. Otherwise, would have no people, like our tourism sector would have completely no clients coming to Mubende just because we had Ebola. To the IGP, through the representative, we want to thank you for the deployment, but still, I will continuously request that we continue disciplining our men in uniform, those that behaved the way that was contrary to what was expected of them. But most of them, that is just to a small extent, but most of them did what was required of them. We thank them so much. To our survivors, I want to congratulate you so much for yet seeing another chance to live, because yes, let's clap for them for sure. They deserve it. Whoever would hear that someone has Ebola, they would just think they are going to die like the next day. If these people, the survivors, were able to come out of that, then we have to thank God so much more. Stigma is one thing that has been common in the communities. Honorable Minister, I would like to report to you. I think some of the survivors that we have here are being stigmatized. Even those that were just quarantined are stigmatized in their communities. I think some people even go ahead to disregard the science. Even when we told them that the women who have survived Ebola do not have a risk of transmitting it to the other. There is one lady whom I got to learn of that their family somehow got some issues, but we are handling it, and we shall see how to come to the end, considering the science that we know, we as people who have some little science background, but we shall also transmit the same to our people, to the communities that host our survivors. Members, all of you who are here, please convey the message that these people, most so the women that we see that survived Ebola, are very safe, are very secure in the communities. Let our husbands and brothers and sisters know that these people cannot transmit Ebola to them. To the partners of the male survivors, they were taken through psychosocial support, and I believe if they took it, then we shall be very good to go without any stigma to our survivors. So we thank you so much, our survivors, for allowing to be taken into the ETUs, because most of them would run away. Thank you so much. To the people of Mubende and Kasanda, I'd like to thank you so much for the patience, for the perseverance that you exhibited in the 2 months under which we were in lockdown. You're so much appreciated. We cannot appreciate you more. We know that, Honorable Minister, during the 2 months lockdown, a number of businesses were broken down. People lost their livelihoods, but I was so delighted when I heard one of the ambassadors mention that the EU is planning or is thinking of how we are going to help revamp the economies and the socio-economic lives of our people, more so those in Kasanda and Mubende. Thank you so much, our ambassador. We take that information with a very grateful heart, and our people, through the coordination of the Honorable Minister, I know this will come to pass under the leadership of His Excellency the President, with the wise guidance of our Right Honorable Prime Minister, who takes charge of all the ministers. We shall be so grateful. We are so much grateful to the President for allowing such implementing partners to come into our country and give us all the support that we needed. Because if it was elsewhere, maybe they would be like, we can handle it by ourselves, but he had that courtesy to allowing our partners to come in. Honorable Minister, I would also like to encourage our people to remain vigilant. If they see any people with signs and symptoms that are similar to Ebola, that we report them, as you already mentioned. I'm just re-emphasizing this. But also, I'd like to mention to our people that we still have other diseases. It was mentioned that we still have HIV, but Honorable Minister, I'd like to inform you that we also have non-communicable diseases. Like we dealt with our village health teams who did a very commendable job, I believe we can also work with our village health teams, if well facilitated, to continuously survey and identify people who could be having non-communicable diseases, because we know the burden that they inflict on our health system as far as the resources are concerned. We could have quite a very small number of gadgets or tools that can be used by our village health teams to continuously take note of the changes in the physiology of our people. I can see the MC coming closer. Honorable Minister, I have a few prayers. One is to request government to release the people who were held or who were arrested as a result of violating some of the guidelines and directives which were meant to help us to come to this success. Honorable Minister, it is my kind request that we have them released. The other is, since Madudu sub-county is an epicenter within the epicenter, Mubende district, Honorable Minister, I think this is not a wrong time. Since we are in the times of planning, I'm requesting that we at least remember these people and this very day when we are declaring Mubende and the whole Uganda free of Ebola, that we upgrade it to a health center for. We shall be so grateful as the people of Mubende, Honorable Minister. The other is about the electricity that the President promised. I think that is in the way. Our people know that it is being worked upon. And the other, Honorable Minister, is to meet the payments, and this is the last one, to meet the payments of those few people that are still complaining that they were not paid. Honorable Minister, some of them, actually there are a few according to the information that I got, there are a few people who are not paid for December and November. And I think considering the enormous piece of work and the support from our partners, all these people can be paid. Thank you so much. All this is for God and my country. Mubende, you're so good. Thank you so much. Always be this vigilant. Congratulations and Happy New Year once again. Thank you.
When I was still active in academia, we would graduate people every year. But on the day of graduation, you find out that the amount of money you're demanding for supervision is still with the account section. Graduation doesn't necessarily mean that the university has closed. And declaring Uganda to be free from Ebola doesn't mean that systems have closed. People will be paid. Those who are still demanding some monies will be paid. The suppliers who have supplied, they will still be contracted for other works, and they will still be paid. I think that restores the fears that some few people have. Before I invite the Honorable Minister, lastly, allow me to let you know that FNET has been represented by Dr. Simon Antara, and the FNET team has done a good job. We also have a team from IDI, represented by Dr. Susan Lamono, JMedic, which is part of the US government, the East African community, the Secretariat has been represented. We also have the Uganda Refugee NGO Forum, well represented here, and they have been part of the response. In a special way, Honorable Minister, I know that the UN family was well represented, but in a special way, allow me appreciate the teams from UNDP who are here, from UNICEF who are here, from the World Health Organization who are here, and World Food Program, and many more other UN family colleagues for the job well done since the outbreak was declared. Given the fact that the Minister of State in charge of general duties is here, I can't make a mistake of inviting the Minister of Health to come and close without following protocol. Olebani Fakawoya. And Mubende is near Sembabule, so literally you are home. Kindly come and give few remarks and invite the Honorable Minister.
Thank you so much, and I stand on protocols observed. Doctor, you should be careful when the Minister Senior is here. I must say one word or two, otherwise she may not leave that chair for me when she's going on leave. I want to say only one or two things. I have been here, and I say thank God. And all of us, we are here to say, glory and praise is to God. Why do I say so? If you look on my left, there is a picture
of a young lady, determined, which is saying Ebola responsive, UK aid UNICEF, and the lady is holding a Bible, I think, because my eyes are not seeing. And she's saying, I declare in the name of Jesus that this Ebola will be defeated. When you look on my right, you will see Uganda is Ebola outbreak free. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, team. Thank you, the technical people. Thank you, our partners. Thank you, everybody that was on front line. Lastly, I am happy that I'm back here. When I came here, she dragged me, my senior, and said, we go. I started moving behind one step, then two, then eventually I disappeared. I said, these are matter of scientists. Let me go back to the office. And I went to the office. The next day, she said, we are going to Kasand. I said, over my body. She said, you will come. I came. She gave me a chair at the podium. Then I said, this one is for another person. She says, no, here. I extended. When another person came, the third one, not in rank, I went down to the PA, her PA. By the time she looked around, I was gone. I said, the speaker told us, you must leave these issues of Ebola to the technical people, to the scientists, you politicians, go and mobilize. I went on mobilizing. I want to thank the people, the population of Uganda. All the population were alert and in this struggle, were by the leadership, political will. Thank you, Ugandans. Thank you, everybody. I want to thank the Parliament of Uganda. And I want to start with the community, with the chairperson of Committee of Health. They stood with us. Together with all our partners, the Parliament stood with us. I think the PS enjoyed the best time because other issues were put aside and we joined hands. Finally, Cabinet and all ministries and departments, monies were cut short, but we all said we are in this struggle together. So when Ugandans are saying Uganda is Ebola free, we praise the Lord. We thank every participant here. Our partners, you know, we can't thank you more. But in our culture and Ugandans, we look forward for more. My senior, you are most welcome here. Come and say, and you sing glory be to God, and you can go and leave. I'll take care of your chair nicely, and you'll come back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Anifa, especially for the last statement. I can go on leave, and she will handle. With due respect to protocol, in closing, I will just summarize what we agreed to yesterday in the accountability fora. Once again, allow me to stress our appreciation and to acknowledge that this outbreak was managed in record time with a total confirmed cases of 142, not 143, 22 probable cases, 55 deaths, and 87 recoveries. The 7th outbreak, but the one of Gulu remains the largest. In the accountability fora yesterday, it was very clear that 56 partners participated in the outbreak, 56. By the end of the outbreak, 6 had dropped out because their activities had come to an end. 50 continued. To date, 29 have accounted
27 are yet to account. Of the ones who accounted, over 81 million US dollars was collected. Total expenditure from the 29 is a little over 39 million US dollars on this outbreak. We are yet to get the true expenditure. And I am saying this because yesterday I saw on news where it was being reported that 81 million US dollars was used on this outbreak. That is not true. We are yet to get the actual truth. Over 81 was collected by the 29 partners. And out of the 29 partners, 39 million was expended. We agreed that the partners who were on ground will clear their existing debts. However, the unspent balances will be used for the following priority interventions. Number one, we shall continue with research. So resources will be used to support research in vaccines, therapeutics, diagnostics, ecological studies, and Ebola virus disease risk mapping. And I am glad the scientists and those carrying out research on vaccines, therapeutics, diagnostics are here. I'm sure this is music to their ears. Number two, we shall focus on infection prevention and control in private and public health facilities. And this will be according to the guidance of the Ministry of Health. Because at the end of it all, we want to carry out a countrywide assessment and find out where we are in regards to infection prevention and control. We do not want to get health workers infected with any potentially dangerous either viruses or bacteria moving forward. Number three, we shall support Ebola virus disease capacity building within the East African region. That means training will be undertaken in the constructed EVD units for all countries within the East African region, with support from partners and WHO. And specifically, we are looking at the Ebola treatment unit in Mulago, which is semi-permanent and was constructed with that in mind, training and capacity building. In addition, there will be capacity building for our health workers countrywide, region by region. There were many people who said we should prepare for the next outbreak. That is one of the preparations, capacity building. Number four, comprehensive support to the survivors program. We will continue with the survivors, their integration, and support their survival as normal people within the communities. Number five, establish multidisciplinary emergency clinical response teams to support the entire country whenever there is an outbreak. Number six, support the implementation of one, recovery plan to ensure better coordination, and B,
integration of lessons learned into the existing plans and frameworks. Number 7, support programs for the National Community Health Strategy for better health education and promotion, which is our focus to ensure our communities are empowered and ready to respond at all times. Number 8, strengthen laboratory capacity, especially for field laboratory. And we are looking at having mobile field vans for Ebola, so that in future we don't have to displace programs. Like here in Mubende, we had to displace the entire HIV clinic. In future, this will not happen. A van can drive, park, and work begins. Those were our resolutions. And that is how we are going to move forward. We are already working on a plan. Once again, all the partners will sit to approve this plan, and we shall implement them. However, intense surveillance continues for the next 90 days. But also for Mubende, you need something. So an EOC will be established in Mubende for continuous monitoring of the district. This will be in support by the Korean Federation. I thank you all. Once again, congratulations. Please celebrate and enjoy your life, but remain alert and remain vigilant for God and my country. Our meeting has come to an end, and I think we need somebody to tell us where we are going to eat. God bless you all.
Mukama ebyange byonna bimanyi abalungi n'ababi abalaba n'abalabe bange n'ababalaba ye yatonda byonna yabifuga kabuba obulamu yabupima yalukeseza ne luno kubasiimye mbeera omulamu Mukama onkumye nnyo Mukama na luno lugendo olunaku lubenga lwadde mbeera munda olunaku luno
Another one if can join the survivors and have that group photo. They are here. And then the ambassadors, the drizzling is part of the response. So the PS and the DG, the WR, and the Director for Africa CDC,